marriage was not a big thing. It was just, should we live together? Okay. Yeah, it wasn't really a big deal. And likewise, sometimes people change. Yeah, in life, sometimes people change, and then you can't really live with each other anymore because of whatever, for whatever reason. This is this is how it is sometimes. And some people, they stay the same. I mean, not, they don't stay the same. They grow with each other. Yeah, they learn from each other constantly. Those, it's not that they're better. It's just they're able to. Yeah, just because you can do more things, or just because you're capable of doing more than others, that does not mean you're better. Yeah, I have a friend who has four bachelor degrees, two master's degrees, and she can fly a plane, a big jets. Yeah, these Airbus, these jumbo 747, 777. She can fly these things. On top of that, she's a nurse, and she was working on her doctorate degree on something. I can't remember what it was. And she's the one of the most humble people that you'll ever meet. Yeah, she does this because she can. She's just able to. Yeah, and she's very intelligent. This I'm talking about my Irish sister, and she's very smart, but she's a very very humble woman, and I'm really proud to call her my sister. Yeah, when she told me she saw me as her brother, well, that just touched my heart. And so since then, I see her as my sister. Sister I never had. Yeah, and this lady is really humble. She's really a non-linear thinker, and she's capable of doing a lot of things just because she is. But she never ever acts like she's better than others. Yeah, if you meet her, she's just really nice. Yeah, really a nice, friendly person, and that's an example of nonlinear thinking. Yeah. So this is um, how it is. Yeah. And as a result, she can really understand the things that I talk about. Yeah? When I talk about ancient Lakota culture, nonlinear thinking, and it's easy for her to understand because she is a nonlinear thinker as well. Yeah. So, anywho, it's important to be able to grasp that concept. Then you realize that, you know, in the modern Western world, people, you know, what they do is they make a mountain out of a molehill, and then they have great expectations, yeah, and preconceived notions about whatever, and they think, for example, they think that when a couple is celebrating their 60th year wedding anniversary, they think that this is uh, this is what love is because they've been together for 60 years. So they think that the longer you're together with somebody, they think that the better it is. And it's not always true. When you're a nonlinear thinker, it doesn't matter how long you're with somebody. What matters is, are you enjoying it? As I know people who've been together for 40 years, and in public, they act like, oh, they're just a wonderful couple, everything. But I'm close friends with both the husband and the wife, and what most people don't know is that the wife She went into depression, had to go take counseling, go to therapy, and one of the things she had to, that she did was she had a 2-year affair, um, and she decided to come clean and tell her husband about it. And her husband said, "Well, as long as we're telling each other the truth," he said, "I'm having one right now." He said. So when you when you think people, you see them together, for I don't know 20, 30 years, and they have, children that are growing up nicely and stuff like that, and you think, "Oh, what a wonderful couple. Wow, they've been together 30 years. Wow, that's something." Yeah, it is something, but then when you really, 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 you know, examine it, you realize that the marriage was probably over in 5 years because they did not have intimacy within themselves. They did not have um, peace within themselves. They were attracted to each other physically. They found love, and everything was nice. They enjoyed each other's company and stuff. But after 5 years, they started looking elsewhere because they don't have what it takes. Yeah, they're coming from a dualistic society, and that society is saying that when you get married and you have children, you stay together for the children, and then and then just give it to God, and and put your faith and trust and hope in God or Jesus or whatever God, and then just do what you can, and give it to God basically, and then that's not really good enough, because what it's doing is it's telling the person to depend on anything except him or herself. Give it to God. Pray to God. Yeah? Just go talk to Jesus and everything will be okay. And if it's not okay, then talk some more to Jesus, because you didn't talk enough or you didn't talk good enough. That's the advice they give. So they do everything but tell you to look within yourself. Yeah. So when you're looking out there for a problem or solution to your problem, then you are going away from yourself. You're going further and further away. You're losing yourself. Yeah, going and attending some kind of relationship seminar, put on by some self-help guru or some preacher or whatever. And all these things do is take you away from you. And you don't need that. You can save your money. What you do need is yourself. If anything, if you do need extra help, what you need is somebody who can show you how to do it yourself. To go within yourself. And if he or she is really good, they're not going to charge you any money. You shouldn't have to pay for this because it's a ceremony, and you don't pay for ceremonies. Yeah, this is something that is our right as human beings to learn how to go within ourselves, to come to peace within ourselves by coming to peace with our past difficulties and our present difficulties so that we can handle the future difficulties. And we have to do this first within ourselves. And once we can do that, we start building intimacy inside of ourselves. Now we have something to share. If we don't do this, we don't have intimacy. So, how can we share something we don't have with another person? How can two dualistic people share intimacy with each other when they don't even have it inside of themselves to begin with? How can you share something when you don't even have it? You have to have something first before you can share it. And you do that by coming to peace with yourself, with your past and your difficulties, so that you can enjoy blessings and face the future difficulties. Because it's a part of life. And when you can do this, you're ready. And you will attract somebody naturally. Because this is the law of nature, that you will attract somebody. We were not designed to be alone. We're going to attract somebody whether we like it or not. Yeah? So if you're unhealthy, that's what you're going to attract. Yeah? That is what you're going to attract. So, that doesn't mean the world's over. You can still heal yourself, get out of it. Or maybe the rare event you do heal yourself, and it influences the other person to heal himself too. And then maybe you realize, hey, let's start all over. Let's or maybe they just don't like each other. Yeah. Once they find out how they really are, maybe they don't like each other. But the most important thing is to be honest and say it. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with finding out that, oh, this I'm not compatible with this person. There's nothing wrong with that. The important thing is that you have peace. And so sometimes, these will end in divorce. And it's better if it does. Because if you have children and you force yourself to stay with that person, it's going to eat you up. And your children are going to feed it too. And you are going to give your children some kind of emotional or mental or personality disorder. You're going to fuck up your own kids. So this church's idea of stay together for the children, that does not work. If you do that, you're going to ruin the children. You're going to damage them, and they may not be able to come out of that. I know a situation where there was a brother and sister that their family was this way, and as a result, what happened was the brother became what happened to him? He became suicidal, and the sister developed bulimia because of this. See, being a parent is serious business, and sometimes it's best to just break away. Yeah, to break away from that person, because the child will benefit from a divorce. Some people don't think so, but it is true. Yeah, the child will be more stable than if the marriage sticks together when it's really, really unhealthy. That's reality. But religion says, no, stay together for the benefit of the children. Just pray to God that your husband will change. Yeah? Just pray to God that he'll stop beating you up, and one day he will. But in the meantime, you have to take some beatings. What the hell kind of advice is that? And because your children are going to see that, then they're going to either become abusers or victims themselves. Learning really happens in a subconscious way, and sometimes we can't control that, and we have a hard time. Yeah, that's dangerous. to stay in an unhealthy relationship. Yeah? But sometimes, yeah, sometimes a healthy relationship can fall. Yeah? Sometimes a healthy relationship can fall when one partner changes. Maybe something happens in their daily life and they're exposed to other things, and then they start, those these other things start to influence them, and next thing you know, they start changing their behaviors. You see facial gestures suddenly. You see their voice uh, talking differently, or you hear their voice talking differently, and you know something is going to happen. Yeah. And then next thing you know, this person says they're in love with somebody else and they're leaving. And it just throws you for a loop. Yeah. And it you didn't do anything wrong. The other person changed. Yeah, sometimes that happens. But you can't worry about that when you're in the relationship as it's happening, though, yeah, because you have to focus on yourself. When you focus on yourself, guess what? You nurture your relationship. Yeah, you nurture your relationship when you focus on yourself. You're not being selfish. No, 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 no. You are investing in the relationship, and as long as the other person is doing that too, they're also investing in it. Yeah, like attracts like no matter what. So if you want a healthy relationship, you got to be healthy first, and then you will attract somebody. That's just the way it is. And then you have to enjoy it as it's happening. Don't. It's okay to worry about the future, but don't overdo it. Yeah, and it's important to be at peace with the past so that you stay in the present moment and you enjoy the relationship as it is happening, and then that's making an investment in the relationship. And if your partner is doing the same thing, then will know what to both of you will know what to do if a difficulty comes to your relationship. It can bring you both closer to each other. It can increase your love for one another and also for yourself, because you got to love yourself too. Yeah, you have to love yourself too. So these are really important concepts. Yeah, and this was part of our way. And it's understood that sometimes people change. And when the change happens, then, sometimes that might mean that the marriage is over. And it's sad. All endings are sad. It's just part of nature, it's a part of life. But an ending is also a beginning. Yeah, it's also a beginning. I shared with you my experience because I want you to learn. Yeah, I want you to learn how to handle things, because most of us have not been taught these things, because most families are either Christian or Catholic or some religion, and most of the time those ways are really unhealthy, and they lead you to become addictive or abusive, or to be a victim, and that's not good. So a lot of us don't have the life skills to handle life. Yeah, so um, I've tried to share with you what happened, some of the things that happened to me, and how I dealt with it, and show you the outcome, that it does work. What I say on this show, it does work, because I'm sure it happens to me, and I share it with you so you can learn from it. And sometimes people change, and that's okay as long as you are taking care of yourself, and as long as you know you did everything you could. Yeah, and that you're only responsible for your actions. If the other one wants to leave, then you let them go. Even though there's been many years together, you know, you have to move on. And it's an ending. It's sad. It hurts, but you transform that into a new beginning. Yeah, and then life goes on, and it's wonderful. Yeah, that's what's happening with me. Yeah, something ended for me, and it was hard. It was painful, but I practice what I preach. I did what I teach, and it led me to somebody really wonderful that's sitting here in the room with me. So, um, it does work. Yeah, that's you will meet somebody again. It's okay. Yeah, and so you try your best to learn from that. Yeah, from the previous experience, you learn as much as you can, and what you focus on is the present moment. Don't worry about, oh, how long is this one going to last, or you don't worry about that because you don't know the future. The future is not written in stone. Life is just what you make it. So that means if you're in the present moment, that's where you have the most power over the future, is living in the present moment. And that's where you enjoy every second of the day. Yeah. Sometimes you just want to lay around, listen to music. That's okay. Sometimes you want to get up and run around the house. That's okay. Sometimes you want to vacuum. Sometimes you want to cook. Sometimes you want to do something. It's okay. Yeah. But the important thing is that you enjoy the moment. You stay in the present moment. That's how you invest in your relationship. So it's what is important is enjoying the relationship as it is happening. But if you're too worried about, oh geez, just criminy, I'm 50 years old and geez, my parents have been married for 50 years and here I am, I'm 50 and there's no way I'm gonna be able to do what my parents did. I'd have to find somebody right now, and I have to live till I'm 100 years old. You're comparing your. It's not even fair to compare yourself to others because you're different, and it's not important how long you've been with somebody. What is important is, are you enjoying what you have, who you have? Yeah, that's what's important. And when difficulties come, you know, are you doing your best to learn from it? Because difficulties are not bad. They're just difficult. It's religion and duality that says difficulties are bad. But in real life, they're not bad. They're just difficult. And it's up to you to learn from it and make the best of it. That's how you gain wisdom. And wisdom is a good thing. Yeah, so it's really a blessing that you have to work for. So you're not afraid of the ones that come later. They might scare you, they might shock you, surprise you, but you take a step back, you take a deep breath, and then you say, okay, let's take this on. Let's see what we can make of it. Yeah, you learn from it. Make the best of it. Release the emotion in a constructive way. Use your heart and mind together. Yeah. And sometimes, like I said, in the relationship, somebody will change. And you just have to be responsible for you and start taking care of yourself. Maintain yourself. Express the emotion in a constructive way. Go someplace and cry if you have to. Get angry. Go ahead and get scared if you want to. But then you come back to to the present moment and use your mind and say, okay, what can we do? Then that's how you're starting the healing process. And it will lead to a new person, a new partner. Yeah, that's just natural law. So for this reason, in the ancient Lakota way, divorce was not a big deal either. When somebody when it was over, a woman, since she owns the home, all she has to do is put his belongings outside the teepee door, and that's it. Everybody knows they're divorced, and it's not a big deal. People are just, oh, okay, they're done. that's 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 that, yeah. So spread the word, so and so single again, something like that. And for the man, he just puts her on his horse, his best horse, and walks her through the camp and says, "I'm no longer with her." That's all that happens. Yeah, that's all that happens. It's no big deal. Just like marriage is not a big deal. It's duality that puts too much emphasis on marriage and divorce, and as a result, they create stress. Yeah, like, oh, geez, man, I just can't stand this woman, but shit, the Bible says I gotta stay with her for the rest of my life. Damn. That's not good, yeah. So you see, this is what it's in Lakota. It's not a big deal. Marriage and divorce is not a big deal because people change. But sometimes people they stay. Yeah, for some they just stay together for the rest of their lives. It's okay. Either way, it's okay. Neither one is better than the other. Okay? Marriage and divorce, neither one is better than the other. It's okay. No stress.